All right, we're back. It's the Dyson Boys. I'm Jay.
I'm Bobby.
That's my baby brother right there. I am upset this morning, man. Want to know why I'm upset?
Why are you upset?
Because of this judge out of New Mexico. This lady. You know the story.
Yeah, I know the story.
We got the Islamic terrorist guy out there in New Mexico.
No, you're not supposed to say that. You're not supposed to call him Islamic terrorist. There's no Islamic terrorism. Where you been for the past 16 years?
Oh, man, I forgot. Got to be PC with this.
Right.
Okay, so we got this Muslim terrorist out there. I know.
I tried.
I'm irredeemable, man. So we got this Islamic terrorist out there. Hey, it's not the Scottish out there doing all this crazy stuff.
Nope.
Is it the Tahitians?
Nope.
Not the Tahitians. Is it the Native Americans?
Nope.
Not Native Americans. What about Australians? Just
not Australians. Not even KKK.
Not even KKK?
Amazingly. Listen, they're the greatest terror threat in America because they're racist and white.
So it's Islam.
And homophobic. Well,
okay.
Well, yeah, it's Islam.
It's Islam.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay. Well, I guess I'll just be an Islamophobe for the rest of my days.
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Not a problem. Not a problem. Anyway, so they have this compound out in the New Mexico desert, away from prying eyes, so you know something's up there.
Yeah.
And they're out there training kids to go out into the schools and shoot the place up. Wonder where they got that idea from. From that Line News media.
Oh, I thought it was Bugs Bunny.
You
sure it wasn't Bugs Bunny or something?
No, it wasn't
Wiley
Bugs.
Coyote?
No, it wasn't Wiley.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Line News media
Line
doing
media,
what they do best, lying.
So the judge, they go to court. The judge releases them on $20,000 bail. 20 grand. So now they got the ankle bracelets on, okay? But this walking brain dead judge wants to invoke this crazy law they got out there in New Mexico about releasing folks pre-trial.
Yeah, because they're not a threat.
Because they're not a threat.
You know, they couldn't prove, the sheriff couldn't prove that they were a threat, so she let them go on bond.
Wait a minute.
Appearance bond.
Wait a minute. So they find a dead kid's body, his skeletal remains out there on the compound.
Right.
Right. So these kids that are still alive, they've been abused.
Right.
Malnourished. All that stuff. And she says these Islamic terrorists are not a threat.
Yeah, because you can't offend Islam. You know, they're protected.
They're protected class?
They're a protected cult.
Oh, okay.
You know, so you can't offend them. So you got to be as nice to them as you can.
So this judge, Sarah Backus, and guess what letter she has behind her name?
C.
No.
F.
No. Maybe for fool.
It's the big D in parentheses.
Yeah. That. D for donkey.
And we're going to leave that right there. Let you people figure that one out yourself.
Now, come to find out, she has a history of freeing violent criminals.
Yeah.
Has a history of this. So you're going to free these folks, and so what? You got an ankle bracelet on.
Yeah.
Abdul probably doesn't care about that ankle bracelet.
Well, if he's going to have kids kill kids, his level of compassion and obedience to the law was probably very little. I wouldn't think an ankle bracelet is a deterrent for him not to do whatever he decides.
Thank you.
To do. But let's not live in reality. Let's live in this judge's twisted leftist brain.
Remember what we said before? Hey, when a lefty, when their brain engages, because it's off most of the time, when their brain engages, logic just goes right out the window.
Right out the window.
These folks should still be in jail.
Locked down.
Locked down.
Because remember, on the flip side of this, it is all about the children.
Supposed to be.
I mean, those poor little innocent children who can't defend themselves, you know, it's all about them. So you're going to let these guys out and these gals out who have shown that they don't care about the children's well-being, but that's okay with you. But we need to abolish ICE because they're down there taking kids away from their parents, you know. And I'm in ICE agents, when you talk to them, any of them, they get in front of a camera and they tell you, you know, you got this guy in this middle-aged guy. He comes up with 2 or 3 kids. And
not one of them his.
And the kid's bawling and wailing, and he's telling them to shut up. And you're supposed to think that these kids are his, you know. And he's just a mule, you know, trying to get these kids in this country. And we're supposed to believe they're ripping these kids away from their parents, you know. We're all supposed to shut our brains off.
Yeah.
We're not supposed to use your logic.
According to the left.
You know, what kid doesn't want to go home with his parents? When you find a kid that don't want to go home, kid is with an adult that they're not happy being with that adult, something's wrong.
Something's wrong.
But we're supposed to shut our minds off because, oh, they're fleeing oppression and, you know, so we're supposed to say, okay, anybody with a kid can come into America. You know, that's okay because you're fleeing oppression from under, you know, whole of a country, you know, some whole of a country you came from.
Now, where do you think these kids are? Because it was 11 of them.
Yeah.
Where do you think these kids are right now?
Well, they ain't on Sesame Street, that's for sure.
They're in some facility somewhere. So, because somebody's got to find these kids' folks.
Yep.
One guy from New Jersey, his kid was kidnapped. He believed the dead kid that they found is his son.
Oh, his son. Might be his son.
Might be his son.
Now remember, we're talking about the children. We're supposed to be all upset about this. Now, if you had your kids locked up in your house and the police come in there, knock the door down and rescues your kids from you, you would still be in jail.
Yep.
You would not have an appearance bond. You couldn't bond out under no circumstances, but especially if you were a white male.
Yeah. But in their quest not to offend Islam, they acquiesce. They fold. Their knees buckle. Every single time. Who cares what their ethnicity or their what group they belong to? Who cares?
The left always wants to quantify evil. This is evil, but it's not as evil as it is
this.
If it's done by this group. If this group does it, it's real evil. But if it's not done by this group over here, oh well, we can't put evil on them, because their culture, their background. We want to be glad-handing them because we want to make them feel welcome in America. Well, you're welcome to America when you come here, right? And if you come here and obey the laws, you're welcome. Once you break the laws, get to stepping.
Look at how they behave all over the world, especially in Europe. I was watching this video yesterday. It was shot in 2012, and it was shot down in Dearborn, Michigan. The Muslim community down there they have this event, this street fair.
Right. Yeah.
And these Christian folks went up into the street fair and they were filming. Abdul went nuts. Yeah. You can't be filming up in here.
No, but mind you, this is an open event. Welcome to all. Come and enjoy Islamic culture.
And one of the booths that they went to, the banner said, if you have questions, come and ask.
Yeah.
So the guy picked up a pamphlet And he was asking questions out of the pamphlet. Here comes Abdul.
With the police.
No, they had their own security forces.
Yeah, with their little security force. Then they get handed over to the local police. And the local police tells them, basically, you can't be here.
Yeah, because we don't want to offend them.
We don't want to offend Islam. Now, they can come up into anything you do and, and express their Islamic points of view. And it's okay. You're supposed to accept that. But you can't buck them. You can't do anything against them. So now we have 12 kids. One's dead. And they're twisting those kids' mind to thinking that it's okay to go and kill people that are not like you, And when we look at our society, who is acting like that right now? Who is saying you don't have a right to speak and talk against anything I do? Who does that model? Which side, they say the right is evil. Who is running around here right now, beating people up, starting riots, calling themselves protesters, setting stuff on fire, destroying businesses because people disagree with them because you don't have the same view. Who does that model?
Yeah,
the right or the left?
So it's on the left. Hey, I'm going to hit on Omarosa here. Well, not hit on her. I'm going to, because I don't want to do that. I'll leave that one alone. Anyway, she releases a tape where Lara Trump's sister or daughter-in-law, is talking to her about coming to work for the campaign after she leaves the White House. So you hear Lara Trump, yeah, we'll offer you $180,000 a year. We don't want you out there though, saying anything, negative about the administration. Want you to, talk positive about the administration. So I didn't know these tapes were supposed to be about her getting a new job. I thought these tapes that she had was about him using the N-word.
Yeah.
So why are they tagged in on this tape of Lara Trump talking to her about getting a job with the campaign? Where's the tapes of him using the N-word?
Well, this is supposed to tie into collusion. See, he's colluding. The Trumps are colluding here, So if they colluded with her to get her to shut up, well, of course there's Russian collusion. You're supposed to make that inference that, this is how they operate and blah, 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 blah. But where's the tape with him saying the N-word?
Just like, where's the evidence about him colluding? I'll tell you, this doggone media, they talk about, freedom of the press, and we're not the enemy of the people. Yeah. You guys are a bunch of liars. You're a bunch of liars.
Nothing but lies.
If Don Lemonhead was sitting right in front of me right now, you're a freaking liar.
Yeah.
Anderson Cooper, you're a liar. Oh, those two that come on in the morning, Joe and whatever her name is.
Morning Joe, yeah.
Yeah, Morning Joe.
Yeah.
You're a bunch of liars. And you heifers on The View.
Yeah.
I think of all the liars, you're the worst. You're the worst. And every last one I just called off, right on the left. What do you got, Bobby? You showed me something this morning.
Well, this kind of ties into the not only the lefty thing, the liberal thing, but, Islam being the religion of peace, which we ain't going to get into that, but we're going to talk about that.
Just like the Democrats are the inclusive party,
party that cares about children.
Yeah, right.
There's a story. I've got it out of, let me make sure I'm saying Australia, right, didn't it? Come out of Australia on, news.com.au is where you can find the story. These two lefty liberals, millennials, snowflakes, decide to leave their jobs in D.C., must have been pretty lucrative jobs in D.C., because Mr. I can't think of the guy's name now, but he decides he wants to see the world and show that his beliefs about liberalism are correct, and that everything he's been told all his life is wrong. You know, that people are generally kind and decent, and if you find these people are all around the world, everything is going to be all right.
Utopia.
Utopia. His name is Jay Austen. They didn't say who he worked for. They just said he worked in D.C. Her name is Laura Geohagen. So they decided they're going to take a trip around the world. Trip started pretty nice. They started this in 2017.
Okay.
And so they leave and they go, I think they went to Africa, you know, and they're, you know, we're going to forget the usual tourist thing. We're going to ride bikes. So they went to Africa. I think they rode through Africa, South Africa, and up in the coast, I believe, towards the Middle East. And so they finally decide that, oh, let's go to Tajikistan. And we're going to bike trail to Tajikistan. Okay, this is like you deciding you want a thrill in your life and you want to see something unusual. So what you do is you jump out you drive to Chicago South Side and decide to take you a nightly stroll at 3 o'clock in the morning, close, not through the South Side, but close enough, so you can see, and all of a sudden something bad happens to you. Well, this is what happened to them. It's really a sad story. And the point is, as I try to tell liberals all the time, your opinions and reality are not the same thing.
Not the same thing.
It doesn't matter what your opinion is. You can have an opinion that you can flap your arms and fly. That's an opinion. The reality is you cannot.
So they were going out wanting to convince people that liberalism is the way to go.
It's the way. Liberalism works.
Yeah.
We're going to prove to you that our liberal principles are solid, and we're going to prove it. And we're going to go out here in all these dangerous places where other people say are really dangerous. And he decides, I don't believe that. So him and Miss Laura, Jay and Laura, decide, here we go. So they're along this old trail from the old Soviet Union in Tajikistan. That's pretty close to Afghanistan. Okay. Mm-hmm. So, okay, that's Ticey right there. So they're spent the night in this one village. The people welcomed them into their home and blah, 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 and all that. And they had such a great time. So they started off the next morning with some people from, I think, a Dutch guy and a Swiss girl. And anyway, some ISIS fighters come barreling down the road, run into them on their bikes and get out and stabs them all to death. And so
they had heard about them.
Yeah.
Probably had heard about
And
them.
I'm like, so you spent the night in this village where these people were being nice to you. Well, how do you know they were being nice to you to be nice to you, mm-hmm. or they were setting you up? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Just because, smiling faces, yeah. Undisputed Truth, 1970.
That's right.
Okay. You're pretending to be something that you're not. So you're going to force your opinions on the world. Right. I believe this, and so I'm going to prove it. Well, you proved that you're wrong, and it cost you your life.
Cost you your life. And that's what happens in this country and around the world with liberalism. They try to force their agendas and force their beliefs down everyone's throat.
Yeah. Socialism is going to work.
Yeah.
If it's done right. Oh, how do you do it right?
Yeah, how do you do it right?
Well, you throw more money at it.
Yeah.
And where do you get the money from? Well, if we take out the military, that's $720 billion. Yeah, but the projected cost of what you're going to do is more like $50 trillion.
Yeah.
So where are you going to get the money from?
Where are you going to get the money from?
To
build this utopia.
It's ridiculous.
It's
and that's why the more I listen to these millennials and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, the more you listen to them, the more foolish they sound, mm-hmm. because they're detached from reality, like these two kids were.
Yeah, they are.
They're detached from reality. And yeah, it cost them their lives, but see, they want to cost you your freedom. They want to take your freedom from you because you're too stupid to know what to do with your own freedom. What do you need freedom for? You need us to tell you what to do. If you let us manage your life, we'll guarantee you'll have free health care. We'll have you free housing. You'll have free education. What do you need with an education when they're going to tell you what you can do with it?
Anyway,
what do you need with one?
Yeah.
Okay. We don't need any more carpenters. So, you're going to pump drill wells because that's what we need. You're going to be a ditch digger because we need ditch diggers. They're going to dictate to you what you can and can't do.
Well, it's that,
and you can't enterprise because there is no enterprise.
Well, it's that old Marxist mantra: from each according to his ability, to each according to his need. And in Marxism, your ability to contribute is defined by the elite.
Yeah. They call it the state, but it's the elite.
Yeah, the elite.
It's just like back in feudal age, when the king was over his kingdom.
Yeah.
And he had his lords. He had his lords running different parts. If a lord was, if you fought for the king and you took out some dude over here that the king didn't like, well, the king would give you his land. And his peasants came with the land. Mm-hmm, so now he manages that for the king. Mm-hmm, the peasants work for the Lord. The Lord gathers whatever they has, and then he sends so much to the king, So it's a feudal system where, we're not governed by ourselves. We can't do for ourselves, One thing I've learned over the years is terms like windfall. I looked at them, well, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. And I looked it up and found out that windfall was when a tree fell in the king's forest, because you couldn't go in the king's forest and chop down a tree and make firewood, and deadfall, whatever was dead in the forest, you could go and harvest that. The king will let you have that, but do not cut down something that's living. Do not hunt in there. That's my land. And this is where they want to take us to, and they're trying to use poor saps like these two, Jay and Laura, to show us that, this is a better way. We can live better this way. Well, you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listening to these idiots, listening to your stupid college professors, you're dead. So how did that work out for you?
Listening to Don Lemonhead et al., listening to those guys, and now, you're dead, and that's the reality.
And notice, you haven't heard anything on the mainstream media. And you will not. Whenever they fail, you don't hear anything about Venezuela. Yep. You don't, when Sweden, they'll pump Sweden and Denmark up. But then when Sweden and Denmark decide, hey, this crap ain't working.
We're done with it.
They're done with it, and they start rolling that junk back. You hear nothing about it.
They zip it.
Nothing about it.
What did Barney Fife used to say? Zip it.
Remember how they all ran over to Cuba, showing us how great Cuba was? And then they all ran back over and said, man, that bites. And you don't hear anything about Cuba anymore.
Yep.
Nothing.
All right, let's close this one down. So he got his off his chest. I got mine off my chest. We'll be back again, getting more stuff off our chest about these nasty, vile people on the left. They are no good. Again, they're a bunch of liars. And I'm pretty sure they're wondering why people are walking away.
Walking away. Walk away.
Yeah. Walk away. Hashtag walk away.
Hashtag walk away.
Yeah. We did our walkaways over 30 years ago. Both of us.
Glad we came out.
I'm glad.
When you come out, I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
But hey, anyway, this is us talking to you on the internet. If you're watching this post, hit that subscribe button and the bell. And if you have a story that you think is interesting and you want us to comment on it, give us a link and we'll look for it.
Give us a shout out.
Shout out and let us know and we'll look at it.
And for those of you that want to come on and challenge us to something,
go right ahead.
Come on.
Go right ahead. Come on. This is our cat call.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, we'll see you guys in another video. Have a great day. We are out.
It's later on the internet.